Okay, we are here. Epidemic Sound Instrumental. Start off with the 20 or 30 seconds of it, just to get warmed up, so to speak. Yeah. Hello, I'm here. You can see my profile. That's all I allow you to see right now. Yeah. Oops, we gotta swap the cameras. I like to be just right in the middle. There you go. On the right side of things. It's November 12th. It's Wednesday. It's almost middle of the month. It's, Wednesday. Oh. It's, I'm gonna check our banking situation. This is Wednesday. Yep, let's, take a look at our, Truist Bank here and see if we get our first installment. There we go. Ouch. Yes. We got our first installment of our Social Security income. So we'll make a little transfer, a little Zelle today after the cleaning ladies exit. So the big news is the United States government is open for business, almost. The Senate passed a bill, to get all this procedural stuff, which I don't exactly follow. The media does a good job of figuring it out and explaining it. But it's the kind of explanation, I mean, you can take notes and write it down on a yellow pad or a shoulder pad, whatever pad. But, I mean, it's a lot of procedural things and laws that are complied with in order to pass the bill in the Senate. Then they go to a conference committee, probably, which is quick in this case. And they pass it to the House, and the House has to get everybody assembled. So they were called to assemble, which means get here. Yeah. And I think there's like a 36-hour. It's either 3 days, 36 hours. I forget the actual deadlines. So if they went home, they got to come back. It's always touch and go. So the smart ones don't go back and forth and back and forth. Unless they have to. They keep. They have a dual residence. One in Washington area and one home. Wherever home is. So there's 536 of these souls between the House and the Senate. The Senate has done their part. They're done. House does its part today, tonight, hopefully, and then the bill passes to the president. So that's how they reopen the government. So the Senate has done their part. Finally got 7 smart Democrats that decided, you know what, I'm gonna vote with the Republicans and open this government, because I don't see the advantage of keeping it closed another month, to create this additional pain, because air traffic controllers are not being paid. They will be paid, will be schmooving. They need money, like everybody else, to pay their bills. And it's hard work, it's professional work. It's, these guys and girls, they make about $145,000 a year. So it's, it's serious pay for a very strategic service that they perform, these air traffic controllers. So now the government is getting ready to, it's not, they can't write the checks yet. So they can, it's all electronic transfer stuff. But they're not allowed to push the button until they have the money, and they don't have the money until the government opens, and the government doesn't open until the person signs the bill, and the House has to vote on it first. So it's still, like Wednesday. So a lot of these air traffic controllers had to not come to work to go do odd jobs, Uber, or Uber Eats, or go to Walmart and lift boxes for whatever you can do to make money quickly, so that they have money to pay their bills, keep the electric running, keep the, that's a hassle. So let's assume, as of this morning, it's not done. It's, it's close. So we finally got 7 Democrats to come across in the Senate. Treasury Department's phasing out the 1 cent coin, because it costs 3.7 cents. I mean, what the hell is the sense in having a penny if it costs you 3.7 cents to make a penny? So they're gonna, no more pennies. They ought to get rid of the nickel also. Just go to the dime. Anyway, so they're gonna have the penny. In the Philadelphia Mint, United States Mint, Treasury Department is phasing out the 1 cent coin. So they'll get rid of it. People are going to have to get used to rounding to the nearest nickel if money is actually going to have to transfer hands, because the penny is going to, people are going to collect them, they have them in their jewelry drawer, You hunt around, you got pennies everywhere. That's the problem. So you probably got 2 cents worth of copper in a penny. It's 3.7 cents to mint it, which means, you You have copper, has to be purified. It comes in on a roll. Then they, make the copper what you would call blanks. And then the blanks gets, squeezed and rolled and this and that, so now it's a perfect circle blank, the exact size of a penny, and then boom, this thing comes down and stamps it. So you get the front and back of a penny, the die, All this happens rather rapidly, and it's not one at a time, Anyway, so they're going to stop making pennies. They're not making any more pennies. And they're going to start collecting them. They're taking them out of circulation. But right now, no more pennies. They're getting phased out. So there's a phasing period. And eventually, like in a month, penny will cease to be a form of payment. Everybody that's owed something is going to round up or down to the nearest nickel. So it's going to be $495.95, not 97 cents. 95 cents. 99.95. Yeah. So, Kmart likes to have 97. This is 7.97. State sales tax. The states will have to modify the way they compute, what they're owed, and, so that it's always to the nearest nickel. There are 20 nickels in a dollar, right? 10 dimes in a dollar. 2 nickels per dime. So the 10-cent coin and the nickel is the smallest denomination of U.S. currency, effective, very soon. I don't think anyone's put the actual hammer down on when the penny is, the government will issue some kind of a memo and say, a proclamation or whatever. The penny is gone, folks. So make sure everything adds up to $9.95. There ain't no 97 anymore. There's no more pennies. No more pennies. Anyway, the most important thing that has happened over the last 2, 3, 4 days is that the government, a few more procedures, but the government basically will be opening soon. And there is a process. I've explained some of it already. That's all I know about it. So let's say Wednesday, the government is open for business. All right. So the word went out to the air traffic controllers. Come on back to work. So there'll be some period of time, last week, this week, where, air traffic controllers that have continued to work continuously on their shifts, overtime shifts, whatever. Those that continue to work even though they weren't getting paid, Donald Trump is going to issue them an additional $10,000 bonus for being good guys so that at least some planes could squeak through the system and transport at least, some folks from here to there. Yeah. So now that the government is going to be open in one state, you just don't, click your finger and everyone shows up. No. Nope. Doesn't work that way. So it takes time for everything, for this train to get back running again. Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation Duffy, has basically jumped in there pretty good. He gets on TV often. He explains what's going on with the air traffic controllers. It's not their fault. It's not that they're a bunch of bad guys, And there are lots of them, You think there's like 20, 30, 50? No. There's like 35,000 of them, I just did a calculation. Oh my God. So let's get my fancy computer here. I calculated 33,600. Remember, these air traffic controllers, they watch. I just took the top 200 cities, the largest 200 cities. Now, there are air traffic controllers more than that. So, let's just play games. Watch. So, they're 8-hour shifts, right? Per person is 8 hours. So that means it takes 3 people. You're watching it on the calculator here. It takes 3 people for one air traffic controller to operate 24 hours. 3 8-hour shifts. Now you can have overtime, this and that, but let's just say regular time people. There's 3 persons that come and go up into the control tower to fill a single spot. But you need 8 of them to operate. So that's 24 shifts, right? 24 people shifts to operate one station in one average city. All right. Times the top. Backspace. I don't think I did that right. So you got 3 8-hour shifts. All right, so three people. It fills, there are 8 slots, 8 different positions. There's probably 10. So so it takes 3 people to fill one of the 10 spots. All right. Times 10 equals. So one control tower needs 30 shifts worth of people to operate that for one day. Times 360 days. Right? That's 10,800 shifts for the top 300 cities. It's 9:45. 3 shifts times 10, because there are 10 people are required to run a particular control tower. That's one day, one control tower, right? So we have to multiply that by times, because it's 300 cities. Then we have to multiply that again times 360 because you have to operate it all year long. Ah! No, that can't be. I must have done that twice. Oh, God. 3 times 10 equals. So that's one day, you've got 30 shifts times 360 equals 3 days times 300, because you've got 300. Darn it. Anyway, that's what you figure out the math, but I think I'm doing one of those numbers twice. It's about 35,000 air traffic controllers. It's not 12, it's not 100, it's not 300. It's 30 or 40,000 air traffic controllers to operate these towers. And it's basically, it's 24/7. It's all day, all week, and yeah. Anyway, I did it 2 or 3 times and I came up with about 35,000. Plus or minus. So moving on into a technology topic that interests me is Tesla has begun. They are building. They have cleared the site. They got clearance. These guys are like, they're like ants. So they've got the clearance. Tesla is a robotics company that happens to make cars. They're big into robotics. They're big into, the actuations, what it takes to drive a car. I mean, it's basically, managing a two-dimensional world where this vehicle navigates around through the streets. You have a relatively consistent system of drawing lines on the sides of the road, drawing dotted lines down the middle of roads going at you and towards you and against you, and double lines to make sure you don't pass over into the other lane except for special circumstances like construction or whatever. So the computer system basically memorizes all of the different road possibilities. A kid jumps in front of the car to run across the street to get his ball, that rolled across the street. He runs across the street right in your way as you are trafficking your way across a certain roadway. The computer system has to know recognize the fact there's a ball that just crossed in front of it, and maybe a kid will follow. Be prepared to stop suddenly, you know. Anyway, you have all these different parameters, that exceptions to the rule. I can tell you, full self-driving, that's what Tesla calls it. Supervised, that's what Tesla calls it, is really quite good. You're not allowed yet to, and you know, you're sitting in the car, you got your hands on the steering wheel. The Tesla system knows if you're cheating. It knows if you're falling asleep. It'll make noises to wake you up. Alarms will go off. They're never to wake your butt up. Yeah. I'm turning on the app for the car. There we go. The car last night automatically at 2 a.m. We downloaded the software, and now we're up to date. 382025. See that right in the middle of the screen. Release notes were 38.8. That's version 12. You can see there. And the minor fixes. We have Tron mode, whatever the hell that means. Transform your vehicle into a light cycle. Go to the app launcher, toy box, and Tron. So something with your headlights, and I don't know what kind of lights you got in the car to make it look like Tron, but they think they've got, you know. Come on, Elon, grow up. You know, we don't need that. It's not wasting time on Tron. All right, 3D buildings. That's important. So now you're going to start to see the buildings in more of a three-dimensional perspective as you're driving it around in the cityscape. And you can tap the 3D icon to see yourself in the three-dimensional world, even though the car is driving in a two-dimensional world. The President of the United States is trying to make it clear that China has communicated with the United States through its channels that they are working very hard on this fentanyl business so that the U.S. is not infiltrated with fentanyl. It's killed over 100,000 of our youth this last year because they're taking all kinds of frickin' pills, and they're laced or not laced with fentanyl, which the smallest amount of fentanyl can be deadly. You know, so let's see, frontal airbag system enhancement. All right. We got Marilyn calling here. Just taking a little pause there. Hold on a second. Hello? No, I didn't look at it. I was just getting it all set, so when you come, you know, in the evening, we'll turn it on and see what's going on. Maybe I'll take a peek at it when the cleaning ladies are running around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it may be, everyone says it's really good, so.
Okay. That's why I wanted to. So I set it up on the iPad. It's It's hard to do that with this stupid remotes on this, you know, when you're on live on the TV. So we're all set. Alrighty then.
Do you need anything from Joseph's today?
Whatever you can imagine. Yeah, for 4 or 5 days into the week. Alright. Okay, thanks for calling. Bye. Love you. Okay, I'm back. We were trying to you're hearing half that conversation as live TV, folks. All right, let's go to photos. All right, and come back here to recently saved. There we go. This right here, this. Oh, excuse me. Just had a little sneeze. Hit the turn down the volume button real fast so you don't sneeze in that microphone. It'll bounce you right out of your seat. There we go. Marilyn has a bunch of people in her world of influence. It says Paradise, TV, HD, Dolby 5.1, closed captioning, AD, I don't know what that means. So, this is in Hulu. Disney and Hulu are packaged together, and I was just logging in and verifying that we do have an account with Disney Plus and Hulu. Hulu, who would know? Hulu. So this is a series, season 1 drama. I have no clue what this is about. Tranquility explodes when a shocking murder occurs and a high-stakes investigation unfolds. So these must be the high-stakes investigators. She's looking at him, and he's looking that way, and that one looking that way. And Agent Xavier Collins discovers one of the world's most powerful individuals has been murdered. There you go. So that's episode 1. There's a picture for episode 2. So you can see the name of the episode. Wildcat is down. That's number 1. Sinatra, episode 2, 57 minutes long. Agent Xavier Collins is interrogated. The architect of social well-being, isolated. Xavier seeks answers on his own and then cautiously turns to Dr. Gabriel Torabi. That must be Torabi. Anyway, so I've got this activated. So now when we go into our TV, it should function properly. You know, everything is so...
It's 10 o'clock.
You know, there's so much fraud out there. that even channels, they're trying to keep people from, we're paying a price of, I'm going to say $13 a month, so that we have the exclusive privilege of watching a whole bunch of stuff on Disney Plus and Hulu. Who would know Hulu? Anyway, so you pay another $5-6 a month or whatever. So 13 would go to 20. And then you have I haven't seen how to turn off the ads. There was some kind of a throttling switch somewhere. And I would check no ads. I don't want to see any ads. I don't want to be interrupted with ads. Just want to go scene to scene. Keep my mind going in one direction. The ads is just complication I don't want to deal with. So anytime I have, pay up another $5-7 a month, whatever, so that there's no ads in the programming in the channels, I select it. Okay, the funding bill that was just signed permits the United States government to prosecute, some of the members of the group called Arctic Frost, which is a group of lawyers that were prosecuting people and snooping on people's phones. I mean, there were like 10 or 20 Republican senators that were being surveilled. So the funding bill allows the GOP to sue people regarding this Jack Frost, and particularly Jack Smith, because he was surveilling Republicans in the last administration. It's very crooked. I mean, there's all kinds of bad stuff going on that shouldn't be going on. I mean, so now we're trying to clean up. And of course, the press is saying that we're doing this just to get even. Well, call it what you want. But when you got a bunch of bad guys, when you got a bunch of people that are surveilling you, and you haven't committed any crime, the government just can't snoop. And if they see anything they don't like, all of a sudden pounce on you. No, that's not the way the U.S. legal system is supposed to operate. All right, Thanksgiving dinner is going to cost $38 this year, as opposed to $45 or $47 last year. Last year it cost $53 to have a Thanksgiving dinner per person, of course. It is according to, this is, Thanksgiving's coming up. Like it's next week or so. Oh boy. So it was $53 per person, and now it's $38 a person. by the time you add up everything, this and that, the turkey is just one piece of the puzzle. Yeah, how about that? You heard it first on here. So this morning, my blood sugar at 9 o'clock this morning, just before airtime, if you will. There you go. 8:59 a.m. I think I hit the airwaves. And you can see that's the exact time right there. I would say it's about 9:10, just after 9 o'clock. You can listen to this broadcast at any time, 24/7. But generally, it's in the morning, hopefully. And it's supposed to be 9 o'clock or so. The reason why it's 9 o'clock, it should be around 9 o'clock, like 9:05. Try to do it like 9:05 every morning. But the reason why that doesn't happen is sometimes the internet does not agree with what you want to do. And if I don't get at least, 10 megabits per second upload speed without too much jitter, this is, remember, we're streaming. Running down the stream. Sometimes the stream narrows down. Anyway, we need 10 megabits per second, folks. Yeah, that's what it takes. We have background music, as you hear, so that when I take a breath. There we go. Turn that down just a tad. There we go. We always want to be streaming with something. That's game plan. So when I take a breath and we don't hear anything, we hear the music going, and that makes sure that the streaming connection keeps streaming. We are simultaneously broadcasting on 3 social networks. And as of this moment, all 3 of those networks are activated, functioning, and receiving my signal from our little studio up here, 8 floors above Chops. Let's see. I don't know if you like chocolate, but if you like chocolate, Dove milk chocolate, individually wrapped in aluminum foil, 136-piece bag, silky smooth milk chocolate, no artificial flavors, genuine cocoa. Up there's our cat. Here's some people installing missiles on a drone ship. Look at them, they're packed in these wooden boxes. They connect them up there. They get connected and they get latched on. This is apparently the back end of these missiles. This is like some airplanes in a field somewhere inside of Russia. There's 3 planes. 3 that were identified. Yeah. So here's the geographic area that the two overlapping geographic areas. There are drone ships that fly all over the place. They fly within these circles. And they concentrate on areas that require attention, so I don't know too much more of the story. But these drones right here, you can see those missiles on the wings. These are connected to devices, with radio remote controlling, if you will. They're drone pilots, if you will, that operate out of trailers, and they're assigned one by one these drones. And these drones fly all over the world. And it's better, safer, whatever, to have a pilotless drone ship that's piloted remotely with joysticks, whatever the controlling devices are. And for one reason or another, if they need to attack something, it's a dangerous world we all live in. Sometimes bad guys that end up with missiles like to aim at something and knock it out. Why else would you have one of those? But to do that. Apple has enhanced. I'm just looking at some things here. It's, iOS 26.2. New sleep score has been implemented in the Apple iOS operating system, and it's downloaded into the watch. So my sleep score last night looks like 50. A sleep score of 50. It's considered low in the world of things. I stayed up too late last night. That's one of the reasons. So I want 7.5 hours. And probably only got 5 hours of sleep.
It's 10:15.
Marilyn wiggles my feet. You know, if I'm not up yet. And apparently I didn't set audio. Mm. I create these little photo inserts, as you can see here. Let me there we go. I'll center this. Now you can see exactly what I see. There we go. Here's something. The cholesterol management. You know, you got the LDL and the DLD and the good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol. So they came up with these atorvastatin drugs. The brand name is Lipitor. Well, 400,000 of those bottles have, been returned. Taken out of the system, if you will. And I asked the pharmacist yesterday if any of the Lipitor brand name exempt drugs, were something that you had to return or not. This was not. So for the time being, I'm going to just let my cholesterol go where it goes until they sort out all the details with what's safe and not safe. I got a whole bottle of those things. I am not going to take them. Look at this nice road jacket. It looks pretty good. It's always nice to have a little some other kind of a zip up to take the nip out of the air. The embroidered road logo on this jacket. Anyway, you go on the road site and when you're very sold for about $85, including shipping, but not including the sales tax. So it's just under $100, including sales tax. If you want one of your very own, I might order one. They say it's designed for a slim fit, so order up a size. So I'm going to order extra large and see if I can fit into it. And hopefully I don't look like a sack of potatoes. All right, here is a wedding that happened in Fort Myers. Daniel is socializing with some of our relatives. There you go. Fellow on the right got married. Fellow on the left is Daniel. Ouch. That's Troy Beatty and Daniel Wilson. There's walking through he's a big fellow, isn't he? He got married in this balcony right there in this old house in the woods with a bunch of oak trees. Somewhere like in Captiva. There you go. They're getting married right now. There we go. I have apparently more than one of some of these photos. I have to go through and delete the duplicates. There you are. There are three of them walking through the woods. There's three of them. We digitally deleted the pastor in the background. Step right up. Step right up. The New York Post is always good for some headlines. GOP's Elsie Stefanik launches her campaign for the governor of New York State and kick out Hochul, the worst governor in America, she says. Yeah. Unbelievable. And let's see what this little... You can see the New York Post. All right, let's see what this little... Republican Elsie Stefanik officially launches her campaign to oust Governor Hochul in 2026, that's next year, saying that under the Democratic incumbent, New York is the most unaffordable state in the nation, with the highest taxes, highest energy, utilities, rent, and grocery bills. And she's going to get in there and straighten it out. Yeah. Turn off all these giveaway liberal campaigns. All right, my watch has been set up You can see it right there. This is actually a print screen of my watch. It is actually, you can unlock the car. Just push this middle button right here. And you can see the little car shows up. See it? Yeah. 189 miles worth of energy. And anyway. And so I followed the instructions so that my watch can be the key to enter the car. Yeah, in case you forget your phone, lose your phone runs out of battery, whatever. Because your phone is your key, and your primary system for getting into the car is your phone. Because you registered your phone with the car's computer, and the car is emitting a very low energy efficient USB signal, which would get trapped by an iPhone or the watch and say, "Yeah, Jimmy's coming by. We better unlock the doors because he's going to want to jump in and ride off somewhere." This is Tesla's RoboCab. Notice in the front, there is no steering wheel. There's no brake pedal and there's no accelerator pedal. We're going to be making tens of millions of those. The hot deal on the Apple MacBook Air 15-inch laptop with an M4 chip. Tesla's getting ready to come out with their M5 chip in the first quarter, I think, of 2026, which, it's November, so December, January, March, so it's only a couple of months away for the M5 chip, but boy, can you get a deal on an M4. So it's always nice to have the highest technology available when you decide to make your $1,149 investment into a computer. I suggest the MacBook Air. I have it right here. It's operating this Simulcast, if you will, Simulcast over 3 social networks: Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and YouTube Live. I kind of like the YouTube channel. So if you can just go to YouTube, youtube.com, download the app, or just go on the internet, YouTube, and that's it. And you can watch stuff, see things. Our handle, our name, is FAU, the number 4U, FAU4U. How about that? Pretty cool name. I'm impregnated with FAU because they allowed me to. I was a professor there for since 2000, since 2003, to be accurate. Since October 2003. I taught in the College of Science. I taught in the business school, digital photography and post-image processing. Tools that are good for in the business world and in the world of science and technology. It's 10:30. My computer just reminds me. You can see the time right up here. My camera is, there we go. Now we can see all the digits on the clock. Yeah. The number floats around on that iPad because of, the screen, so you don't burn spots on the screen. So the digits keep floating around so that it doesn't damage the screen, leaving imprints on prior exposure on the screen. Yeah. Anyway, so that's an image I captured right off the Amazon site. See Amazon.com up there. There you go. See it? Yep. They are a supplier of these. They take inventory of these devices. So they are a qualified reseller of Apple products. Yeah. Well, that's a good place to get a computer, with a discount. See, if you go on the Apple site, it might cost you $15.99 for the same computer that you can get on Amazon for $13.49. And then it was additionally discounted. There you go. Thank you for being a Prime member. And then you pay only $1,199. There's another discount. So for the 24 gigabyte, I hit that button, and the color, they have 4 different colors. The midnight blue is really quite nice. Anyway, I didn't care what color was picked. Okay, Duffy, Secretary Duffy, who is watching over the airline industry, because he's Secretary of Transportation. That makes sense, right? He says there's still disruptions because the government is technically still not open. So the air traffic controllers are technically still not getting paid. So some of them are home working second jobs so they can pay their bills. What the hell? That seems to be fair. Anyway, look at these computers here. You can see all the savings. So you can get a 13-inch screen MacBook Air. You want the 24 gigabyte version with the highest storage. So 24 gigabyte 512 storage. That's the one you want. My computer up here has 2 terabytes of storage. So I pretty much max up on the storage, so you don't run skinny on storage. There we go. Recently saved. There we go. Here you can see our Republican House leader to set historic shutdown. He's claiming victory because he finally got 8 Democrats to go along with the proposal to reopen the government. So it's obvious with who's doing what, that the Republicans were not the ones that started this shutdown government thing. This was the Democrats decided to do that. We're in the world, I'm in the world of iOS, the operating system classic to iPhones, iPads, and the MacBooks. They operate on a companion system of the operating system designed for the iPhones and iPads. That's what this article is talking about. It's nice to clip these articles because that's the camera that I have operating. Philips Hue Secure Wire Camera Review, okay. So I can touch on that picture, see, and highlight the words, and then see where it says look up. I can look up something, find out what this story is all about. So let's press this button right here. I have this camera. $100 you can have this camera. 1080 high definition live stream. Have one of your very own. That's the nice thing about having these photos. There's a launching point. Because on any of the images, if it doesn't ring a bell, if it doesn't remind you enough of what's going on, it's my blood sugar this morning at 9 o'clock, which is adequate, suitable, satisfactory. I'm running at 127 right now. See 127 on the watch, or on my iPad. There you go, 128, 127. You know, you can see the graph. So this little arch down here, right there, that's what's going on. I took my morning regimen of pills and supplements this morning, which really doesn't measure up on the Richter scale here. It's increasing your blood sugar. And I have a Diet Coke in this container. There it is. I have a little disturbance in my left eye. So I have a little bottle of Lumify. See right there? This is like my over-the-counter. I carry that around, or have several bottles of them around so I can put eye drops in my eyes. There we go, back to our pictogram here. It's 10:40. My cleaning people are going to show up pretty soon, so I'm going to have to check out of here. There's my cat. Robo. Okay. We want litter robot. No, we don't want this. Litter Robot 5. Release date. Oh yeah, let's find out that. Compare. Upgrade to which we're going to do that. We have 2 cats, and this litter robot stuff is really quite good in controlling. This is a new one right here. Litter Robot 5 Pro. This is the one. Can I save that picture? No. So we'll just do a print screen of this whole thing. As a reminder that we have ordered that, and I'll leave. Yeah, just like that. And we'll retire the one that's now 4 years old and going out of warranty. There you go. It has cameras in there. So here, this is how it works. Rotates around and the poopies go in a drawer. There you go. So they have advanced new technology on with the litter and all that stuff. So it goes around and around. $1,000, you can have one of your very own. It use video cameras, so it recognizes your cat, and it lets you know through an application. There's a picture of the app, and it tells you that the waste drawer where all the poopies are stored is 5% full, and that the litter that's remaining in the drawer, because remember it goes through those little things, it doesn't get thrown away. This litter it sticks to the excrement, if you will, and then gets dumped into the drawer, coated with, litter. It still smells like crazy, but it's in the drawer. It's kind of sealed up below. And they've spent extra time making sure those seals do a pretty good job, because people complain all the time about it. If you just have a regular tray where you scoot up, you can always, people when they walk in your apartment or house or whatever, they always know if you have cats because you have that cat smell. Well, that's because of the litter box. But when you have these kinds of devices with this automated poopy removal, the litter, you don't really smell the litters. The cat smell, you don't really smell it that much. And you don't have to touch it and deal with it. When you pull open this drawer, you don't have to touch anything. Because it's all, oops. That's not the page I was looking for. Anyway, Litter Robot's coming out with a new one. And I was looking, it says release date. So what's the release date? Do we have top self-cleaning litter boxes. The best auto litter box. You're looking at it right here. There you go. There are competitors. You can see the different shapes. This is Litter 5 was released on November 3rd. There you go. See it right there? Show more. Yeah, November 3rd. Pre-orders started in late October, okay? Customers can now purchase and receive the product in the United States. So that's the machine, and that's the drawer. Has a bigger capacity. So instead of 2 gats filling up a drawer every 2.5 days, you may be able to go 4 days. That's a guess. I'll report back to you. But if this thing would work where you empty the drawer twice a week, that'd be perfect. Yep. Right now it's like 2 days, 2.5 days. Then you got to get that drawer, because when it gets full, it gets kind of. You just got to, the machine will stop basically when the drawer fills up. So you don't want to be in that condition. 10:46. When our cleaning people come, they rap on the door pretty hard. Anyway, so if you've got cats, I suggest you go to litter-robot 5. Oh, I think people are knocking on the door. I'm going to check out. I'll see you tomorrow.